All right, hello everyone. Welcome to a night of X39. I am going to be presenting on this amazing patch. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And if you are a guest tonight, or even if you are already patching, you can go ahead and share where you're from in the chat while I share my screen here. Okay. All right. Sharon, I can see you in my screen. Can you give me a thumbs up that you can see my slides? Okay, thank you. All right. So if somebody invited you here tonight, you're very special because somebody loves you, and we share this patch with people that we love very dearly. So my name is Andeea Rae, if you don't know who I am. And I am board certified in applied quantum biology, and I also have a addiction background. So not only am I in recovery, but I'm also a licensed addiction counselor in Minnesota and Oregon. And I'm very excited to share this technology with you. So, board certified in applied quantum biology, what does that mean? That is actually a newer science. It is the study of light, water, and magnetism. And that very much applies because this is a patch about light. So I am going to share my testimony throughout the presentation, as well as my mom's and how I got introduced to this patch. So this is a very special patch, and the reason it's so special is because it actually uses your body's light to activate the natural healing in your body. And normally, when we think of patches, we think of a patch that we put on our skin and then some kind of medicine is going into the skin. Well, that is not the case with this patch. This patch uses your body's light. So, as soon as I heard about this patch, I have a podcast called Quantum Healthy, and I was interviewing a doctor on my podcast. She is not here this evening. Her name's Dr. Rachel Maurice, and she was sharing her story. And towards the end of her story, she shared about this patch and how this patch helped her mom with congestive heart failure. It helped her mom lower her thyroid medication. And she just saw all these wonderful remarks, and she had all these things to say about it. And as soon as we were done recording, I was like, I need this patch for my mom because my mom had recently been diagnosed with polymyalgia, making it very difficult for her to walk. She was not in a wheelchair. She could walk, but she's in her 60s and she was walking around like she was 100 years old. She was hunched over. It was very, very painful for her to walk, and her legs had just a large amount of pain. So they had put her on 3 pills of prednisone. And so I wanted to get this patch for my mom. For me, I was like, I'm healthy. I don't need to wear the patch. And I ended up putting the patch on so my mom wouldn't be alone in it. And also, for full disclosure, for vanity purposes, who doesn't want to reverse their age? And we're going to learn more about how this patch does that in a little bit. So my mom wears the patch. But it's about the 6 month mark. She's been on it now for 11 months. But it was around the 6 month mark that she no longer had pain in her legs and she was off of her prednisone medication. And it was amazing to see that because it was heartbreaking to see my mom not be able to walk around and do her everyday life because she has a vintage shop and she's always hauling and toting things around and lifting furniture and doing a lot of things that she was not able to do during that time that she was diagnosed with polymyalgia. So, really quick disclosure, speaking of diagnoses, this Lifewave product, this patch, is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or medical condition. And it is loved by athletes, doctors, veterinarians, health professionals, and people all over the world. This patch is in more than 80 countries, but it is enjoyed by people in over 100 countries. And another thing I want to just note is that this is not a medical device, and it's medical devices that actually require FDA approval. So this patch is not FDA approved, but it is FDA recognized as a wellness product. So, feeling older than we are? Who is feeling older than you are? Who is feeling like you are not bouncing back like you used to? Who is feeling like they have low energy or struggling for some of us, struggling to stay active, for some people, struggling to stay alive, to be quite honest. Chronic disease is very, very prevalent in our society, and people are hurting, people are in pain. Me being in the field of addiction studies, there's always some kind of co-occurring symptoms with people who are in recovery, and there's always some underlying issue, oftentimes some kind of a chronic disease that led them to using in the first place. But just feeling like our body is not keeping up with us any longer, or not being able to focus, maybe having some inflammation, mobility issues, just pain that's slowing you down in general. And imagine if all the things that you're thinking about of yourself right now, like I want you to start thinking like, what would I love to have be better in my body? And just imagine if you had that more energy to play with your kids, to run around with your grandkids, to crawl on the floor without feeling fatigued, to be able to think more clearly, get through your job, just the daily activities of your job or whatever you do during the day. Get through it with more mental clarity, more focus, more productivity, being more efficient, just having a better quality of life and being able to move freely, exercising when you want to without any discomfort, without having to think, oh, well, this might hurt today, or this is acting up, and just overall reduced stress and having a more calm and more balanced life. I think we would all love that, right? We would all love better quality of life. And that's exactly what this patch gives people. So the reason that we don't bounce back like we used to is because of the decrease of stem cells in our body. So the fewer stem cells that we have, it's the faster that we age and the slower we heal. And if you did not know this, by the age of 30, you have a decrease in your stem cells by 60%. And by the age of 60, your stem cells have decreased 90%. And to be honest, when I was in my undergrad, I remember learning in biology about stem cells, and I just remember stem cells equals babies. Babies have stem cells. That is all I knew about stem cells. I wasn't at that time, research about stem cells, it wasn't something that was being talked about in academia. And even with doctors who I've heard present about this patch, they don't typically learn about stem cells in school either. And now we have a lot of research around stem cells, and the inventor of this patch went ahead and did a lot of research, and I'll share about him in a little bit, but did a lot of research knowing that this is the answer to healing in the body. Now, light therapy in general is not a new thing. So photobiomodulation is the name that is given in research. So to break down this big word, it's photo meaning light, bio meaning body, and modulation meaning change. So it's light changing the body. Many of us these days, we're very familiar with red light therapy, right? We're very familiar with um, different modalities of light therapy all over the place. There's over 10,000 studies in PubMed around light therapy. And this, what that means is it's just using a specific wavelength of light to activate certain cellular energy production in the body. And this also promotes tissue repair, wound healing, reduces inflammation and pain. And the sun actually is a form of light therapy. And this has been around for billions of years. And we know that if we go out in the sun isn't giving us vitamin D, but the sun is hitting our skin and it's activating vitamin D to be produced in the body. That's similarly to how this patch is working. And I'm going to explain that more. So what the patch is doing is it actually has to do with the power of a peptide called GHKCU. GHKCU stands for glycine, histidine, and lysine, and the Cu is copper. So this copper peptide is the holy grail of age reversal. There's 50 years of research in PubMed about this peptide, and it's was discovered by Lauren Picard, who is a PhD and researcher, and he isolated it way back in 1973. And since we have all that research in PubMed, if you want to go digging in there. But this peptide activates your body's own stem cells. So all those dormant stem cells that I was talking about earlier, they're activated. And there's there's also a special thing happening in the body within the first week, and that is that it's capable, this peptide makes it possible for the age reversing of over 4,000 genes in the genome being able to be reset. All right, sorry, there's some people coming in here. So now that we know about the power of the peptide, I want to talk about the patch specifically. I have it on my hand if you can see my screen. It's like the size of a quarter. You can see it in the palm of the person's hand on the slide here. And it is made of an organic crystal lattice. It's a proprietary crystal lattice that's made out of amino acids, sugars, salts, and oxygen and water. And this crystal lattice acts like a mirror. You put it onto your skin. I'll talk about how long you wear it and all of that in a little bit. But the way that it works, it's non-transdermal. So remember, this patch, there's nothing going into the skin. It's just like a little mirror. And it's also non-invasive. It's a sticker. You're just putting it on your skin. So unlike traditional stem cell therapy, if you aren't familiar, is very, very expensive. You have to shoot it into the body with a needle, and it's all you also you're getting synthetic stem cells or your own. And if you're getting your own, well, remember, 90% of your own are dormant. So if you had the procedure to take out your own stem cells and then put those into the body, either which way, that is another procedure that's very painful. And so you are going to do all of this and also have to fly to a different country to do it because it's not legal in the US. If you're here from another country, I don't know if it is legal in your country, but typically people in the US, you have to fly somewhere else to do it. So you have all of that cost. And then it's localized. So you're taking that injection of stem cells, you're localizing it into a part of the body, and then you have a 50% chance that it's even going to take. So you might spend tens of thousands of dollars and the stem cells therapy may not even work. So there's a lot of risk involved. And with this patch, it is simply putting, and I know this is hard to take in, like it's putting a sticker, non-transdermal patch on the skin to do the work. And that is how amazing this technology is. That is the reality of where we are at with our technology these days. And it's the reality of the genius David Schmidt, the inventor, for having created this. After doing 10 years of research on stem cells, he was able to invent and create this patch. So this patch is reflecting your body's infrared light. So we all, we're light beings. So, we have things like um, thermal testing that we glow when we're warm. There's thermal technology that allows, people to be seen in the woods. This is all because we are light beings. Our mitochondria make infrared light. So that's the infrared light that's being reflected off the crystal lattice back into the skin, increasing the copper peptides GHKCU, that amazing age reversing peptide, and therefore activating your stem cells. So that is the power of this little patch, this x39 patch. So the benefits of the x39 patch. So the benefits we're seeing are a reduced inflammation and pain. So at the cellular level, whenever you have inflammation, you are going to have inflammation in the mitochondria. That's where it's happening. And then also any discomfort, it's going to reduce any discomfort or pain, but it's going to reduce inflammation at that cellular level. The mitochondria is where light is being made. So that should make sense. If light's being made there, that's where the light is. Therefore, helping that organelle is what it's called. It's an organ inside your cell, an organelle. It's helping that organelle mitochondria reduce inflammation in the body. It improves strength and stamina and energy levels. This is why it's loved by athletes. So people who are healthy, like I wasn't going to wear the patch. My initial thought was, oh, I don't need that. I'm not sick. Well, this has pushed my health into a whole nother realm. And this is why athletes wear this patch, because it improves strength, stamina, and energy levels. It improves muscle and bone density, improves mental clarity, reducing stress. Reducing stress is also huge. That is huge because stress, it creates inflammation in the body, right? And we have balancing hormones, easing anxiety. For me, at about around the 4 month mark, my period cramps went away. Period cramps are a symptom of hormone imbalance. So me not having those period cramps anymore is a sign that my hormones are now balanced. Easing anxiety. This is really great for people who struggle with debilitating mental health and depression. There's actually, I want to share just really quick, a woman on our team. She was on antidepressants for 35 years. She could not feel her feelings. She could not cry. And I cannot remember how long she wore the patch, but it was not even a year. I know that. It was months. I just can't say the amount of months because I can't remember. But she's off of her medication, off of antidepressants after using them for 35 years. So this can do have huge benefits for people who have debilitating and mental health issues, and then also improving hair growth, skin appearance. This is due to the fact that about the collagen piece, and I'm going to talk about collagen in a little bit and the importance of collagen in the body and what it does, because that is the most um, prominent protein in the body. Promotes cellular repair and wound healing. And I'm going to give you some before and after pictures of that so you can see what I mean there. And it improves sleep quality. Oftentimes, that first thing we hear people reporting is sleep quality. And then it works systemically all over the body with a 2,100 stem cell proliferation rate. That is huge. The long-term results, and again, some of this may not be felt in the body. So you may not feel over 4,000 genes beginning to be reset in the body, but in the first few days, week, if you will, you're over, it's actually 4,192. 4,192 genes are reset. And one of the things I want to say about that is many of us have heard about, um, oh, you drink a glass of red wine and it has health benefits. Well, the health benefit that they're talking about is resveratrol. And they have since taken that out, and you can buy it in supplement form now at your local vitamin store. But the whole hype around resveratrol is that it reverses two genes in the genome. Two. And this reverses 4,192 genes. So they begin to be reset. And in the mix of those genes, there's a very special gene called P63, and that's actually the gene that allows for the stem cell uh, patch to work systemically all over the body and locate inflammation wherever it is. And this is why we have so many testimonies of all sorts of different types of inflammation and ailments. It is actually the body doing its own healing and repair. It's not the patch doing that work. It's your body's own stem cells going to where they need to go and doing that work and doing that healing process. Within 6 weeks, your brain becomes more balanced. I personally, I didn't know I had brain fog until it was lifted. And it was around that mark where I was like, wow, I've been living with that for a really long time. I didn't even realize I had brain fog until it was gone. And then collagen is increased at that 3 month mark, and then that 6 month mark, your heart reverses in age. That is phenomenal. I think about my dad. My dad has passed. I know he's watching down on me, and I think about what this could have done for him and his heart. And David Schmidt has this amazing quote right here, and it says, it's not anti-aging, it's age reversal. This is like, I used to work in skincare, and everything was about anti-aging, anti-aging, anti-aging. No, we are way ahead of the game now. We are reversing age, and that is what these patches are doing. Now, I want to talk about collagen for a second, because you see on the screen here a double helix. That is a DNA strand. We're all very familiar with a DNA strand. We learn about it in undergrad biology, in even probably high school biology. So DNA is a double helix, and collagen is actually a triple helix. And in the center of that collagen is a nanotubule of water. Why is this significant? Well, collagen is the most prominent protein in the body, and it makes up our fascia. Our fascia is it's all over. It's the connective tissue to make everything stay in place. It's why our organs aren't sloshing around in our body and why they stay put in one spot. It's because the fascial network is keeping it there. And it's also the connective, like communication in the body. Well, that communication is done by water and light. Light travels through the body, through the collagen network, because light travels through the body via the water network. So I'm going to talk a little bit about hydration in a second and why that's important. So that's going to make sense now. Okay, the collagen is very important because it is carrying the water network that is carrying this light signal throughout the body, the light signal being the the light signal like right here on the patch being reflected back into the body. It's very, very critical and important that we understand that because that's how the people always ask, well, how does this patch work? That's how the patch works. So how we wear it is very simple. We put it on. You can see the model here. She has it on the back of her neck. That's the C7. And you can also wear it two-finger widths below the belly button. The reason it's noted for those two areas is because when you're doing research, because there's over 90 clinical trials at this point, double-blinded placebo studies on this patch and the fact that it works and it's very heavily patented. And when you do research like that, it has to be duplicatable. It has to be being able to be repeated. So the reason David Schmidt did those 2 points is because those are two acupressure points that have a lot of energy in the body. So I'm wearing it on my hand because I wanted to be able to show you very easily tonight how small it is and where I'm wearing it. But this is typically, I will wear mine on the back of the neck or two-finger widths below the belly button. And there's 12 hours, it's 12 hours a day. So they did studies with a 24 hours on and 24 hours off and 12 hours on, 12 hours off. They had best results with the 12 hours on, 12 hours off. We don't want to attenuate to the patch, just like we don't sit out in the sun or we don't have daylight all day. We have 12 like we have darkness and we have light. So we don't want to be out in the light all day. We do need that rest and digest period where we need darkness. So it was the best results were seen with the 12 hours on, 12 hours off. So that's how you wear it. You don't want to wear the X39 in the evening because it does give you energy. And so you would want to wear this in the day. I typically do 7 to 7 or 8 to 8. And that's because I remember to put it on during those 2 hours because that's about the time where I'm sitting down at my desk for the day. So, for work. So it's like that's how I remember to put it on. I often tell people pair it with something you're doing in the morning. Everybody brushes their teeth. And you could put your patches right next to in your bathroom. So you're putting them on with something that you're already doing every morning. There is about 16 to 18 hours of life in the patch. So why do I mention this? Well, you can take the patch off at your 12-hour mark and actually put it on your pet or your plants. Why does it work on pet and plants? Well, remember, it works on light, and anything living is reflecting light. So that equals your pets and plants, because plants also reflect infrared light. And and then putting a new patch on to repeat. So the patch comes in a sleeve, and the sleeve has 30 patches in it. And that sleeve of patches is going to get you through 1 month. It's recommended to wear this patch for 1 month every decade you've been living for full stem cell activation. Now, remember the long-term benefits here. This is what's happening in the first few days, 6 weeks, 3 months, and 6 months. When you get to, let's say you're 56, well, that means you need to wear the patch. You round up. So that means you wear the patch for 6 months. Many doctors say just wear it 6 months to a year. David Schmidt says wear it for 1 month for every decade you've been living, and then I always round up. So, for instance, I'm 46, so I gave the patch a good 5 months, but certainly I was not going to stop at like I knew I was going to wear it for the 6 month mark because I wanted to see what it was going to do. And when you have the benefits and you're starting to feel these things happening, you don't want to stop wearing the patches. You can stop depending on your goals. If you have some kind of ailment, pain, what have you, and your goal is to wear the patch and then have that go away, that's great. When you stop wearing the patches, just remember the patch does not replace a healthy lifestyle. So if you go back doing whatever you used to do, so maybe, however you eat and your lifestyle, if it's not the healthiest, your ailment may come back because it might be because of your lifestyle. So just keep that in mind. And okay, well, where was I? I was here. So, and then drinking plenty of water and electrolytes. So, this is very important because of the hydration piece. The water network in the body is carrying the light signal all over the body, so we don't want any short circuits, if you will. So, drinking plenty of water with electrolytes. Electrolytes are important because it allows for the hydration to stay in the body. When we just drink bulk water with no electrolytes in it, so just plain water. Let's say you filtered your water and you're drinking just like reverse osmosis water. That's great because it's filtered. And there's also other problems with that. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole right now, but you do need to add electrolytes back into the water because those it's devoid of all the minerals, and the electrolytes are going to allow for that to be used cellularly by the body. You can do that with a nice salt, a nice salt. So not regular table salt. That actually has chemicals and fillers in it. And even like if the next time you're in a hotel or at a restaurant that has the little packets, look at the ingredients on the salt. They're like putting sugar in the salt now. It'll say like dextrose salt and blah, blah, blah. So you do not, that is not the kind of salt I'm talking about. I'm talking about a nice Himalayan or Baltic Sea salt, or some kind of really good salt. And you can get that in the store. Redmond salt would work. You just put a little drop in your water, a little pinch. If your water's tasting salty, you're putting too much in. We're not asking anyone to drink salty water, just enough to put the minerals in your water. And then increasing foods high in copper. So that's important because of the copper binding that's happening for when you put the patch on. So, foods high in copper, some of them are avocados, seafood, oysters, organ meats, uh, cashews, sunflower seeds, pepper, fresh ground peanut butter. All these things are high in copper. And we used to, back in the day, get enough copper, but the soil is depleted now of nutrients, so we don't get as much copper. And another favorite of people is just eating a small square of dark chocolate. You don't need to eat the whole bar. Just a small square is actually enough copper for the day. And then what to expect. So, like I said at the beginning, taking note of some things that would be on your wish list. What are some things that you would love to have taken care of on your body? Maybe you have a sore knee that always acts up. Maybe you have um, a mole, or you wear glasses, or you have gray hair, or whatever the case may be. There's all sorts of things that have happened. The testimonies I've heard, so many things, people's hair going back to its normal color, skin tags falling off, moles falling off, all sorts of things. Eyes reversing. In fact, I my eyes are starting to reverse already. Do still need to wear my glasses, but my eyesight is reversing since wearing the patches. So these are all things like people note. We have a person on our team who did not need their eyeglasses only after 2 months of wearing the patches. So you just never know. And he actually had really debilitating migraines. What do you think he wanted to have the patch work on? His migraines, but his body prioritized internally what he needed, and his body obviously thought it needed his eyesight to go away first. Maybe the eyesight was contributing to the migraines. I'm not his doctor, I don't know, but his migraines went away later, and it was his he didn't need his eyeglasses after the 2 month mark. So you just never know where the patches are going to go to work first, but they're going to go to where it is needed. And everybody's different. So just write down your wish list and start to take note of specific little things and issues. Another thing like people will report is going back to their dentist, and then their gum line is no longer receding and it's in a healthy place on the teeth. That's another thing. There's all sorts of things, but I'm just trying to think of some things that come to my mind. If you're tired, that actually means that it's working. So, for instance, my husband, he got tired the first week. I didn't. So, everybody's experience is different, but that is a sign that the patch is working. And getting extra sleep, practicing deep breathing is going to help, and staying hydrated and in eating that copper is all things that are going to help the patch work faster for you. This is a topography map of a 77-year-old woman. She's a yoga teacher, and she had, this is session one, not wearing the patch. All the redness there you can see is inflammation in the brain. So that's lack of brain coherence, or AKA the left and the right side being able to talk to each other. Session 2, 3 weeks on the X39, you can see she has no longer any redness. There's a little bit of orange in the center of the yellow dot there, but she is it definitely has improved brain coherence based on this scan. And then at the 6 week mark, X39 complete turnaround and better brain coherence. So what people actually see with this is like their ability to make decisions comes a lot easier. They're not debilitated by the anxiety of having making decisions when the brain coherence. I mean, there's lots of things that happen with better brain coherence, but that's one of them that's reported. Um, there's also many before and afters of hair growth. This is someone on our team you can see at the summertime when she started the patches, and then on November 16th. So about 3, 4 months later, and then another couple 3 months later, she's hair growth full there. And my hair growth also is significantly different. The hair on actually my hair, I'm 17 years in recovery from drug use, and my hair was really stuck at this point for a really long time. It would not grow past my shoulders, and it was very slow to grow. I actually have a haircut. You guys are looking at me with an actual haircut. I used to never ever cut my hair because it grew in so slowly. And when I went in to get a haircut, the hairdresser was like, "Your hair on the top of your head, so about to my chin, which is about the amount of length. I've been wearing the patches for 11 months, and it grows about a quarter of an inch to a half an inch um, every month, right? That's what they say. And that is about that, right? And she said, your hair is completely different than it is on top than it is on the bottom. So it's kind of neat to have somebody else see that. And I didn't even notice until she said something. This woman on the right has scoliosis after X39 and Icewave. This was within 4 weeks. Now, Icewave is a different patch. That's the patch where you see on her lower back, it's a white and a tan patch. That's a two-patch system. This company's been around for 20 years, over 20 years. So there were other patches before the X39 came around, and I'm going to tell you the story about that patch after we hear a couple of testimonies. Um, Here we have vitiligo. Oh, I didn't even finish the story here. So you can see she has scoliosis, and she like this is really significant. The crooked spine she has there and how straight it got just within 4 weeks. That is remarkable. This woman on the left had vitiligo, and you can see the lack of pigmentation in the skin on her back. And then the one on the right, she's got a nice even skin tone. And the one on the right, this is one of the pictures that every single doctor I've heard talk about this before and after picture says that this is like nothing they've ever seen. This is why they give this patch preoperatively and postoperatively. So this person, this is before the patch. This is a huge knee scar. Looks like it's about, I don't know, 8 inches or 9 inches. And they wore the patch for 2 days and the skin is already closing. Doctors who look at this photo say you don't see that kind of healing until like at least 3 weeks, depending on the person. That's remarkable. And then here is some ankle swelling here. Now this person had a bunch of health complications going on, some not known, some known, and she put the patch on once, and she woke up, and that was her feet when she woke up the next morning. So that is a crazy turnaround of the swollen feet there. There again, this is worn by lots of famous people. This is just some of those photos. You have David Beckham up in the right-hand corner, some Olympic swimming athletes, surfers, tennis players, um, Serena Williams at the lower bottom, RFK in the middle, and Mike Tyson down in the lower left-hand corner. And I'm going to just stop my screen share for a moment because I know that there are a couple people who would like to share their testimony today. I know Laura was going to share her testimony. I've been sharing mine throughout, and I shared my mom's. And Laura, I'd love for you to share about your experience of the patches so far.
Well, thank you so much, Andeea. It's a privilege to share because Andeea is the reason I'm here and able to share a testimony. Um, so I'm in Stillwater, Minnesota. I just turned 56. I have had chronic autoimmune disease, Hashimoto's thyroiditis, since age 11. And I struggled my whole life with my weight. Um, excuse me, and just feeling my best. So, gosh, about 17 years ago, I got as natural as possible as I could with all my food and all my belongings, and I felt so much better, and I was really able to manage aging with a chronic disease because I didn't know that the longer you've had it, the more that you can get. So a few years ago, I was also diagnosed with or tested positive for rheumatoid arthritis. All the efforts that I make to live toxin free. In fact, I have a company called Toxi Free that shares all the products that I found. Um, I didn't have any symptoms of it. So the efforts that I was making have been working. Since getting involved with the patch, I've also realized from listening to other testimonies that I believe I have shared symptoms, really early symptoms of Parkinson's. Like I said, I haven't ever had any major symptoms with those things. So, gosh, Andeea called me right away because we are dear. She's one of my closest friends. And I didn't do it. I was very skeptical. I guess I just didn't believe it was possible. I've had to take this medication every day since age 11, and they tell me I have to take it until I die. And so what's helped me most is being the most natural. So I just I didn't understand what this little sticker or patch. My brain couldn't handle it. And she gently kept reminding me, sharing her story, and actually she lives in Portland now and she used to live here. So we would FaceTime and I saw a transformation. I was like, India, what are you doing? And she's like, it's the patches. I keep telling you. So there was a local mutual friend of ours who she is also really supernatural like I am. And she started wearing the patches and she came in and she showed me all of these little new hairs that she was getting. And I told my husband, I'm like, we have to find a way to do this. And so we started March 20th. And the things that have happened to me, I wouldn't have believed possible if you told me 6 months ago that I would be here today saying this. So the first major thing I noticed was, and this was early on, was I usually get up to go to the restroom 3 to 5 times a night. That has been down to one, and now 6 nights with zero. I'm keeping track. So it is improving even to get to zero. Then probably 6 weeks in. A little backstory. The I control my symptoms because of my really strict diet. I only eat farm to fork, and just as an example, about 5 years ago, I tried one little teeny piece of cheese straight from a farmer, and I couldn't walk the next day. So my body inflames to severe degrees. I've also been in the emergency room and I've had so much inflammation. They didn't know if I had Crohn's or the other C word I can never remember, or needed my appendix out. That's how much inflammation I had. I have been eating unlimited cheese since 6 weeks in, unlimited eggs, pork. I even tried bread and I've had no inflammation. So I thought I was going to have to die and go to heaven to eat a grilled cheese sandwich. but I have been eating them every other day, in fact, because I'm gaining weight. But anyway, it's worth it because I'm living in heaven now. Okay, so then, um, gosh, the 4 months in. I was at the dentist, and 75% of my gum recession, the 4 to 6 numbers, had all returned to 1 to 3. Um, I have had a 35-year-old injury the size of an egg right here on my arm that is almost gone. I've had 2 moles fall off. And I should stop talking because I've been probably taking up too much screen time here. But that is just so far. Um, and I will probably remember more later. So I hope this helps you. I wish I would have started earlier. Um, I'm so grateful to you, Andeea. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. I appreciate that. I love you. All right, so we have time for one more testimony, and I see Lynn is on here and also Nan. If either one of you would like to share your testimony, you can unmute. If not, that is okay. We'll just move on.
Andy, may I share then?
Yeah, thank you, Nan.
Great. Yeah. Well, uh I don't think that it's a miraculous change in my life, and yet at the same time, what I'm seeing over these last 6 months that I've been on the patch now using it, I have seen um marked improvement in particularly in uh mobility. I've been struggling with arthritis and also with chronic asthma for a number of years. And um, in February, I had x-rays done of my shoulders and neck, and I found that there was severe arthritis, osteoarthritis, and bone on bone. And so it was very, very painful. I couldn't drive anymore. I couldn't even use the computer or sit at my desk for very long. And I really was in a bad way. And um, my daughter called me one afternoon and she said, we've been studying out this crazy patch, Mom, and it's not woo-woo. It's not crazy. I have a friend out in Portland who would be very happy to meet up with you if you would like to consider using the patch. And so I said, well, all right, I might as well. Can't lose out on too much, I guess, here. And so Andeea came out to the house and we got patched, and it was very special. I remember, Andeea, you put on the ice wave patch on my shoulders, and really and truly, the pain went away. And so I was impressed. I thought, wow, I wonder what this is. I hope it's not placebo and all that kind of stuff. But then started using the x39 and have been using it since. And I have found a marked difference month by month by month. And I'm very excited about it because I really the little that I understand of the science, I see that there is a lot to it. And I love the fact of knowing that my own body is being stimulated to heal in a different way. And it doesn't replace a lot of the good protocols, obviously, of eating naturally and hydrating and earthing or grounding and all those wonderful things that are so important for us to do. But it does boost our immune systems in a wonderful way. And I kind of got started late in life because I'm over 70, but I'm excited about it because I'm seeing differences already. And I plan to keep using it. And I'm very happy. I love to be able to encourage people all around to wear it, to use it.
Awesome. Yeah, Nan, I think you're the only double frozen shoulder person that I know.
Well,
And
here we are.
here we are. Oh, thank you so much for sharing. Lynn, I saw you on you showed your face. Do you want to share really quick your testimony?
Sure, I'll share quickly. So I was trying to find a quiet area in the
Thank you.
house. So my name's Lynn. I'm in London, Ontario, and I've been patching now for a little over a year. What caught my attention, I was just going up the stairs now, so I'm out of breath. Uh, what caught my attention was the fact that a year ago I had gone through quite a few years of a lot of stress, and I was feeling pretty much adrenal fatigue. A little bit of what was shared earlier too, not sleeping through the night, going to the bathroom, 2, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then being up an hour, not being able to get back to sleep. I had gone several years crying a lot at night just because of some personal things happening in our family. And anyways, so my friend Jay Rang told me about the patches. I don't think she's on tonight, but I started them a year ago, and pretty much within a week, I was sleeping through the night, deep, deep, deep sleep, where I had, you know, these vivid dreams that I remembered in the morning, which was wild. And the fact that I didn't have to get up in the middle of the night and go to the bathroom, I had so much energy in the day. I could get through my day. I felt my stress, even still dealing with things we're dealing with at home. I felt like my body was able to handle the stress. And so that fight or flight was just gone. I just feel so much happier. My mood's better. My energy is up. I feel like I'm more productive in the day. And then in the last few months, I noticed my hair is getting so thick. Like, when you go take a shower and you're like, oh my gosh, where'd all this hair come from? And then one of the other things I noticed was how fast my skin heals. I tend to get a lot of mosquito bites in the summer, and I have a bad habit of picking. And so it could take months before my skin heals. And last year, by the end of summer, September, October, everything was healed. I had a couple cuts that just healed within days, which was just fantastic. And so, anyways, I am loving the patches. I'm telling everybody I know about it. And that's my story till now.
Awesome. Thank you, Lynn. All right. Thank you everyone for sharing. Okay, I'm going to share my screen again and we'll get through a couple more slides and then some questions. Okay. Okay. Lynn, I can see you. Can you give me a thumbs up that you can see the screen? Thank you. Okay. So this is the inventor, David Schmidt. I've mentioned him a couple times now. And he is the genius inventor behind this patch. And honestly, I don't know why I'm getting emotional right now. He's one of the reasons that I love this company so much. He has, this slide is actually outdated, and he has over 200 patents now on this patch. There is actually over 90 clinical trials on this patch, and he continues to share research with us all the time when new things come out. Now, like I said before, this is over a 20-year-old company, and we're in over 80 countries. This company went from, I'm going to explain this little part in a second. So what I want to tell you about David, a little bit of history. So he was a contractor for the Navy SEALs, and they asked him to create a patch that was non-stimulatory and non-addictive for the Navy SEALs because they were up for like 36 to 48 hours, and they wanted to help them out. So he created a patch called the Energy Patch, and similar to the Ice Wave, it's a two-patch system, and that patch is still around to this day. So once 9/11 happened, the contract ended because if you weren't making weapons, they didn't want it, they didn't need you anymore. So David, through his networking, he went ahead and found an opportunity to put this patch on the Stanford swim team. And I think it was within 8 weeks, 6 out of the 8 women were beating their own records and their own personal records. And from there, he continued to do networking, and the patch was able to be put on the Olympic swim team. And the same thing happened. Well, when that happens on the Olympics, that calls in the dope team. because they think that the people are on something or they're doing something illegal to enhance their health and enhance their performance. And this was nothing's going into the skin, remember? So they were able to wear these patches because that nothing's going into the skin. It's their own body's healing. So remember when I said if you are healthy person, this pushes your health into a whole nother realm. That's why these athletes like this patch. So you don't have to, have something ailing you to wear it. And like me, I thought I was quote unquote healthy, and I actually did have inflammation that needed targeting in my body. And I only figured that out after I started wearing the patch. So we all like you to have, you to do your own research, and you can find the research, the patents, and testimonies on a website called thisisitinfo.com. The person who invited you here today very likely maybe already shared this website with you. And the patent you see on the screen here is a 22-page patent about the X39, and it really is summed up beautifully in this little paragraph that says embodiments as results of elevating copper peptide, including activation of stem cells, energy improvements, elevation of antioxidants. So if you'd like to hear more testimonies, or maybe there's something ailing you that wasn't mentioned today, you can go to the testimony tab on this website, and there'll be a problem tree. You can click on any problem you're interested in hearing about, and you will find a short video of a person sharing their testimony about that issue. The results here go way beyond the surface. So we have been really talking a lot tonight about health freedom and the power of this patch. Now, wearing this patch, of course, is going to increase your confidence because you're going to start to feel really good in your body and in your mind. Your energy is going to be you're going to find motivation coming out of the woodworks. That happened to me. I started working out after not being able to work out or not having any motivation to. Not that I wasn't able to. I just didn't have any motivation to work out while I was in my 40s. And I found that motivation wearing the patches. So whether it's work, hobbies, your family, your energy, that really matters, and it really can make a huge difference in our life and our overall well-being. And then health just from the inside out is not just about looking better, but feeling healthier and vibrant. And people are experiencing also financial freedom with this patch. And I'm going to share some statistics shortly here that are always hurt me when I have to share these. And it was probably because it pulls on my heartstrings so much because I was all three of them at one point. Financial freedom, of course, is going to bring us ease of life and way less stress when we don't have to worry about money issues, right? And so some things I did not know this. So 85% of Americans actually hate what they do. 60% of them are living paycheck to paycheck, and 56% of them don't have $1,000 for an emergency. And so this company is bringing financial freedom to people and just by sharing. So I don't think of it as selling. I have a history of being in sales, but I certainly wasn't I wasn't looking to go back into sales. And I don't even see this as selling. I see this as helping people. This patch helps people, and I am in the helping industry. I'm in the healthcare industry. And this company is so, so amazing. It's a 20-year-old company. It is a company that it was a $20 million company in 2020. Now, in 2020, prior to that, David Schmidt did 10 years of stem cell research to create the X39 patch. It was the 39th invention, hence the name X39. And that patch, within 4 years, took the company into a 3,000% increase. It is now a $600 million company, and it's projected to be $1 billion. And the company knows it and is planning for that. They wouldn't be spending money on the production of $4 billion in patch production if they didn't know that that was the trajectory that we are going. David Schmidt's goal is to have this in 1 billion homes. He wants to help 1 billion people. That's a huge goal. And for the past 2 years, this company has actually won the Bravo Award, which is the fastest growing company in the world. In the world. And we're in over 80 countries. And it's not a Me Too product. So what does that mean? This means that you have your hands on a one-of-a-kind product that is not on trial. This product is patented and researched, and we know that it works. And it's also a blue ocean product. So what that means is that everybody is your customer because there's no other patch like this. And we all are just inundated with bioaccumulation of toxins in our modern world environment that is just layered upon layered upon layered of other just regular, being a human and just aging. We have that all these like different layers of toxins, and we're not going to get into that today, but all to say every single person is your customer because nobody else has this product. Now, if you're selling like skincare or vitamins or something like that, it takes a little bit more effort because you have to convince people basically of why your product that everybody else has too is better than theirs, right? And so that's what it means by this is not a Me Too product. This is a very huge, huge important thing. Many people from other network marketing companies will come to Lifewave. They will come to Lifewave. Why? Because that's what the industry that they're in, and they understand exactly what Stuart Johnson, the CEO of Direct Selling News, who presented the Bravo Award to Lifewave, says about this company. And these are all tick marks that a person looking to have a business like this actually looks to tick off because they want to make sure that they're investing in something that is worthwhile and that they're actually going to make money on. And he says this is the right company leadership, the right field leadership, the right products, the right systems, and the right timing. And you need all of those things to have a successful network marketing business. And Lifewave has all of those things. And this is coming from the top of the top. This isn't just us saying this. So I want you to imagine what it would be like to have all that health freedom, nothing's ailing you, and the financial freedom, which inevitably will lead you to time freedom. Time is our most precious commodity. So I want to take this moment to thank you for coming here today and spending an hour with me to explain this patch to you and to explain this opportunity to you. So one of the things I want to hit on before we end here is there is 3 different ways to enroll. I encourage you to reach out to the person who invited you to this call or who shared the link of this recording and reach back out to them, and they can help you get the patch. So everyone, of course, is probably dying to know at this point, how much does this cost, Andeea? So you can sign up 3 different ways. Retail, it's $149.95. And typically this is people like in doctors' offices and people who have this as a business, they will sell it out of their retail store for the retail price. But you here tonight, you do not need to pay $150 a month. You can actually get this for wholesale costs, which is $99.95 a month. That's a 30-day sleeve, a 30-day supply. And David Schmidt wanted this to be affordable for everybody. So that breaks down to less than a cup of coffee a day to wear this patch. It costs $3.33 a day to have this health freedom, to have this financial freedom, to have this time freedom. And another way to join, so as a preferred customer, you get that wholesale pricing, and then we make sure that you're replenished every month so you won't run out. And that's how you get that $100 a month, basically. And the other way to join, which is my favorite way, because there is no strings attached with this. You are not signing your life away when you become a brand partner. What becoming a brand partner means is that you get that wholesale pricing, but you also get access to other deals and pricing that regular preferred customers do not have access to. And if you happen to share this with your loved ones, you can get your patches paid for if that is your goal. You could just share this with a few people and have that $100 a month covered. But if you do want to create a business or create another revenue stream, because these days, I mean, I'm speaking for myself, I cannot get by anymore with my own sweat equity and my husband's combined. Like we need another stream of income coming in to be able to live the life that we want to live. It is just not hacking it with trading our time for money, with our regular full-time jobs. So this being a brand partner, when I say no strings attached, if you never sign anybody up, you're not penalized for that. You don't have to sign anybody up, but if you do share it, you are compensated. Okay, and there's a whole compensation plan that should you sign up, you will get free, all the training is free. You'll get free training on this. And I do recommend that you are committed. This is not a technology that you wear for 1 month to try it. Oh, I'll try it for a month, see what happens. I wouldn't do that. In fact, I typically will tell people, call me back when you're ready to do the full commitment because I don't want them to waste $100 because you're not getting, you saw how the patch works and the benefits that you need, and the suggested wear is 1 month for every decade you've been living for that full stem cell activation. That is what you need to commit to. So if you're 77, you need to commit to 8 months. If you're 88, you need to commit to 9 months. If you're 46, commit to 5 months. In fact, I like what the doctor's saying. Just commit to that 6 months to a year to see what happens. Because you got nothing to lose, especially if you end up sharing this with your loved ones. And I mean, everybody has 4 people that they love, right? We all have 4 people that we love that you could share this with. Lastly, this is the what you will see on the order form. So the person who invited you, and if you wanted to sign up, the person who invited you would be able to share the more details about this. The prices you see here on the screen, this is not what it costs per month. This is just the introductory price because they give you a discount on patches when you sign up as a brand partner. Okay, so for a single family, typically people will do the core package. You get 3 sleeves of premium patches, the x39 patch, for $295, and that's just, to start. And then you get your replenishment for your monthly shipment or what have you. You still sign up for that because you don't want to run out of patches. And the second one is typically that's a great option for a family. And then people who are wanting to build this as a business, the most popular way to sign up is the premium because you get the sleeves for the cheapest cost, $87.50 per sleeve. And I was going to say one more thing. Can't remember now. It slipped my mind. But if you're going to do the business, this is the most popular way to sign up because, oh, and you also do not need to worry about your monthly subscription for 3 months because you remain an active brand partner. So you do get that bonus as well. So I am going to stop sharing my screen. And again, I want to thank everybody for coming tonight.